What happens when the United States crosses a number so large that most people cannot even picture it? America has now passed 40 trillion in total national debt. Not 4 trillion, not 14 trillion, $40 trillion dollars. And here's the question that matters. Does that number actually change anything for you? Could it affect your mortgage, your investments, your taxes, or your paycheck, or the cost of living? And if the US has been growing for decades, why does this particular milestone matter so much right now? The answer is more complicated than simply saying America owed too much money, because the real story is not just the size of the debt, it's what the government has to pay to finance it, how investors react, and what happens when those courts start competing with everything else Washington wants to spend money on. According to the US Treasury, today federal debt has now crossed 40 trillion for the first time, including about 32.3 trillion held by the public and roughly 7.8 trillion in the intergovernmental holdings. And that brings us to the part of most Americans should care about. Imagine you have a credit card balance that keeps growing every year. You can keep making the minimum payment, but eventually a large share of your monthly cash flow goes toward interest instead of the thing you actually want to spend money on. The federal government has not worked actually like a household, but the basic pressure from rising interest costs is real. And according to recent Treasury data reported by Reuters, interest on the federal debt has become one of the government's largest expenses, surprising Medicare in current spending comparisons. Now, here's where this story gets interesting. You might think the government can simply borrowing more because the United States issue the world's dominant reverse currency and treasury securities are still among the most important assets in global markets. And that's true. Reaching 40 trillion does not mean American suddenly run out of money tomorrow. It does not mean the US government is about to stop functioning, but it does mean the cost of financing that debt deserve more attention, especially because long-term treasury yields have been under pressure. On August 19, the 30-year treasury yields reached a level not seen in nearly 2 decades, and the treasury responded by increasing the size of some long-term bond buyback operations from $2 billion to at last $4 billion per operation. That move is important because it tells you something about the environment we are in. The economy is not just thinking about how much it is borrowing. Investors are also demanding to be compensated for holding that debt. And when investors demand high yields, the effects does not stop at government bonds. They can spread through mortgage, corporate borrowing, and the broader financial system. Think about an American couple trying to buy a home. They may never buy a treasury bond in their lives, but their mortgage rates is influenced by the same broader interest rates environment that treasury yields help shape. A few percentage points can completely change how affordable a monthly payment feels. Now think about a small business owner who want to borrow money to open a second location. If financing costs rise, the expansion may no longer make financial sense. A large corporation may also have to pay more when refinancing debt, and investors have an other decisions to make. If treasury bonds offer high yields with the relatively low credit risks, investors may demand more potential returns from stocks before taking on additional risks. That does not mean stocks must fall. It means the hurdle becomes higher, and that is where the 40 trillion debit story becomes a market story. But there is an other layer that many people miss. Not all debit is equally important. Economists and policymakers often focus heavily on debit held by the public because it represents money the government owes to investors outside the Federal Reserve's government itself. That figure is now more than $32 billion and then $32 trillion. Why does that matter? Because the government has to keep funding wires for treasury securities as all debit for treasury securities as all debit matures and new deficits are financed, and the United States is currently running very large deficits. The community for a responsible federal budget estimates that the federal government borrowing about $1.8 trillion during the first 10 month of fiscal year 2026, with the full year deficits projected around $2.1 trillion. So now put the pieces together. The debt is getting larger, the government keeps growing, interest costs are growing, long-term yields are elevated, and investors are paying closer attention to how much compensation they want for holding long duration US debit. This does not automatically create a crisis. In fact, the United States still has enormous economic strength, deep financial markets, and a treasury market that remains central to the global financial system. But hard debit can make the government's choices harder. If more federal money goes toward interests, there is less flexibility for other priorities unless the government raises revenue, reduce spending across the economy faster or continues growing. And that's the uncomfortable part. There is no magic button that makes the problem disappear. So what does this mean for you? First, don't make investment decisions based on a single debit headline. Second, pay attention to your own exposure to interest rates. If you are carrying expensive variable rates, debit rising borrowing costs can matter more to you than the 40 trillion headline itself. If you are saving or investing, understand how interest rates affect the different asset you own. And if you are thinking about buying a home, don't focus on only the sticker price. Your monthly payment and the financing cost can matter just as much. Most importantly, don't assume that because a number is enormous, the outcome must also be immediate or catastrophic. Finance does not work that way. Big fiscal problems of building gradually through interest costs, borrowing decisions, and changes in investor confidence. Something that most important warning sign is not dramatic crash. It's slow change in the cost of money, and that may be the biggest lesson from America 40 trillion missed on. The real question is not simply how much does America owe? The better question is what does it cost to keep carrying that debt, and who eventually pay that cost? Because whether you are a homeowner in New York an investors in San Francisco, a business owner in California, or simply someone trying to build saving in Chicago. Government borrowing does not exist in a separate universe. It can influence the financial environment around you in a way you might never see directly. So, let me ask you something. Do you think 40 trillion is mostly a political headline, or do you think it represents a financial problem Americans will increasingly feel in their everyday lives? Share your view in the comments. And if this video helped you understand something that usually gets buried behind complicated numbers, send it to someone who follow the economy and subscribe to Arsam Invest. The goal is not to fear the numbers, is to understand them before they affect your decisions.